Good morning, vinyl community. How you doing? It's David Michael. It's very, very early on a Thursday morning, which I guess is kind of irrelevant because you could be watching this in the year 2018 on a Wednesday, I guess. This is the second time I've attempted to film this video. The first time, I had two issues. I realized that the camera is here and not here. The first time I was looking here and I looked like a maniac. And then YouTube wouldn't upload the video. So let's try this again very early on a Thursday morning. So what I have to show you is a couple days worth of thrift store shopping, a couple records I bought from a private seller, and some new stuff that came in the mail. So to start with, good morning. If you have no interest in disco funk singles from the 70s, you might want to fast forward a bit. But if you don't mind indulging me, what I found a couple days ago, I went to a Goodwill. Let me get this big stack here. I went to Goodwill, what's it, Tuesday morning, I believe it was. And Halloween's over now, so the thrift stores, at least in my area, that's kind of around the Halloween season. That's all they focus on is Halloween and selling you their Halloween stuff. And then they put bits and pieces of vinyl out over the Halloween season, and then stuff builds up, obviously, because the day after Halloween, the whole vinyl racks got flooded. And then I came into the Goodwill, like I just said, and they had put out a lot of disco funk 12 inches. I've seen lots of these kind of collections at garage sales, private DJ sales, flea markets, record fairs, whatnot. And usually the singles, they're good, but they look like they've been DJ'd for 20 years, so you're not really getting the best quality vinyl. These ones I found, it looks like, well, I mean, obviously they look like they've been unplayed, or the previous owner took really good care of them, because I didn't even have to take a cloth to them, a brush or nothing. They were good to go right out of the sleeve. So that was Tuesday morning. I went back on a hunch. I went back later in the day, as the patterns kind of follow for thrift stores, and they put more out. So I ended up with 25 to 30 singles, and I won't go all through them. But what I find really interesting, and I know there's a lot of people on the internet who they're fascinated by the covers of disco singles, and I think there might be a book out there somewhere discussing the art of the old 12-inch singles. So there was a lot of very interesting covers I've never seen before. So if this is an old RCA one I've never seen before by Richard T. Bear. Old fantasy record disco singles. Who knew fantasy to release disco singles? The Motown ones we've all seen before. Sal Soul we've seen before. There was a lot of really obscure things, but also there's a lot of really well-known things in here in the haul I got, and I find it really just a lot of fun to sit in front of my turntable, and you discover a lot of gems, and then you discover a lot of crap. But you know, that's half the battle, isn't it? These pink ones, I think everyone who has seen a million of these in their lifetime. Peter Brown, TK Disco label. There's like I said, there was some good classic stuff like Gloria Gaynor, I Will Survive. I'm a big Chic fan. I saw them a couple months ago. It was really fun to see them in a Canadian hockey arena filled to the rafters, and that was a lot of fun. So I got an original copy of I Want Your Love by Chic. Like I said, really neat covers. Herb Alpert Rise, a custom 12-inch sleeve for that. This is a really cool Capitol one I've never seen before. And the oddest one that I think I found, and I'm endlessly fascinated by 12 inches that are remixes or extended versions that really shouldn't exist. And this is one of them. This is the Doobie Brothers, What a Fool Believes. and they did a disco 12-inch for it. Seriously, they did. And that it's actually not bad. So it's just the rhythm section kind of pumped up in the mix, and it's a little bit longer. But I find these things endlessly fascinating. Most of these records behind you here and around here, they're all 12-inch singles. I collect them. I probably have a couple thousand. So when I make 2 trips in the same day to a Goodwill, and I find just a shitload of singles, it's very exciting for me. So that was my finds from Tuesday. Was a crap load of disco 12-inch singles. I've kind of made it through half of them, and like I said earlier, there's a lot of crap, but there's a lot of really good stuff. So that was that. So if you didn't like disco, hopefully you fast forwarded to this part right here. Also that same day, I found a copy of Bobby Tola's Truly Yours. Now Bobby Tola, let's see if I can get that there, was a Canadian teen idol who had a lot of international success, like Fabian and Frankie Avalon. He had a single called Fortune Teller that I believe sold like 2 million copies worldwide, maybe more. This one had his second biggest single called Indian Giver. And Bobby Tola died in my city, over the summertime of 2016. So I saw, and I guess I see the odd Bobby Tola album at thrift stores, but I think, like a lot of teen idol albums, you find they've been owned by probably young girls who've played them to death and just stared at the covers, and so they're not in the greatest condition. This one is in really good condition. The vinyl has no marks on it, so I thought I'd pick it up for $1 and check that out. And yeah, so that was an interesting find. If you're offended by album art with nudity on it, then maybe fast forward again. If not, I found a soundtrack to a French film called Bilitis by Francis. The music was done by Francis Lai, L-A-I, I believe. I hope I'm saying that right. And obviously the cover is there to sell you the album back then, and it sold it to me now. And as it turned out, and I won't show you the back cover. The back cover is a little bit more explicit than that. It's actually a really good soundtrack. It's one of those blind buys that you hope pays off, and it's not just a nice cover to sell it to you. But I saw this at Goodwill, and it has actually a really good soundtrack. So if you happen to see this kicking around, and you're into interesting scores and soundtracks, Bilitis. I believe it's from 1977. I could be wrong, but that's there you go. It's early, so I hope to God I'm making sense here. Okay. Two of the before I get to my 2 really exciting finds of the week, I'm really trying my best to not buy the Tom Petty vinyl box set Volume 1 that's coming out. Volume 2, okay, it has Wildflowers and Echo and She's the One. It's kind of one of those, I'll be getting that one because, I don't have those on vinyl. But Volume 1, I have all the albums except for one, and I found that one. So, that kind of eliminates me having to spend $250 Canadian on a box set that I have all the vinyl of. And I found a copy of Southern Accents, which kind of completes everything that would have been in that box set. I'm not sure if all of them were embossed, but this one is. I'm guessing they were. So that completes all the early Tom Petty albums that would have appeared in the Volume 1 box set. And I don't really see a need to spend $250 during the Christmas season on things I already have, whether or not they're remastered or 180 grams. I don't think I have the ears to really notice much of a difference being an original clean copy and a 180 gram copy. So that was a nice find. So I'll go through 2, I believe. Oh yeah, one more story. I did find that same day I found the Bilitis soundtrack. I found another copy of Nielsen Schmielsen. I have my own clean copy, but whenever I see a clean copy at Goodwill for $1, I pick it up because I always have a friend who wants it. So it's a really good item to trade or give away to a friend. So yeah, another copy of Nielsen Schmielsen will find a good home soon. So I'm going to get to my my two really exciting finds of the week, and I hope I'm keeping this within time limits. As my previous video stated, my phone with the camera right there, not there, there, it likes to shut off after a certain time. I collect David Bowie, like a lot of people. I'm not a mad, obsessive collector, but I found a promo album called Let's Talk. And it was a promo album released to promote the Let's Dance album, obviously. And it's songs off the album. And then in between the songs, he talks, like a lot of promo albums that went to radio or whatnot. It's on. It's an official EMI promo release. I'm not sure if this was Canada only, if it was released elsewhere. But when I see a promo David Bowie music and interview album, it's kind of like slight heart attack moments. David Bowie, Let's Talk. So that was an exciting find, and I really didn't pay a whole lot for it. It was in the single dollar figures, let's put it that way. And it's in beautiful condition. So that was find number one of my really exciting finds of the week. And number two is I have a little bit of a confession to make. I'm a Kiss nerd. So I don't have, like Bowie, I don't have a crazy collection. I'm on a few Kiss vinyl pages on Facebook, and there's people whose whole lives are consumed with Kiss vinyl, and I can't be that person. I don't have the money, and I don't know if I had the money if I'd want to be that obsessive about it. But I do have a healthy sized collection. What I do have, I'll get to my find in a second, but it kind of relates to this, is I have two first pressings of the first Kiss album. I have to make notes there so I know what copy this is and this is. But this is a very first pressing Canadian copy with no kissing time. And if you're familiar with Kiss, you'll know some of the terminology I'm using, why this one has no kissing time and da-da-da-da. Because you have to remember, I'm a huge Kiss nerd. So anyways, this is a US first pressing without kissing time that my wife got me for Christmas, and this is absolutely near mint. So I keep it double bagged, and all of these are on the blue Casablanca Smoking Man. There's a little guy smoking. This is all Kiss terminology, and hopefully you know what I'm talking about. So these are two first pressings, and I play them, but it's not something I enjoy playing because they're quite valuable, and yes, vinyl is for playing, and I definitely don't keep things laying around for the sake of they're not museum pieces, but when I play them, I'm gonna have to be very careful. So what I did find was another moment, because I don't have to. I can put these in the collection because I found a really super clean copy of the first album, and I believe it's a second pressing that has kissing time, but it's also on the Casablanca Blue Smoky Man label. What I'm relieved about is that, I could have bought one of the new pressings, but, I haven't completed the new releases of my Kiss albums. Those, I get them when I get them. But this one I will play because it's a super clean copy. I found this yesterday. And like the David Bowie, the same place I got it, it was single dollar amounts. And like I said, it is, I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but it's a super clean copy that I'll be using this as my main copy I play. So I'm hoping that didn't sound too horribly anal of me. Like I said, I have no desire to be one of those obsessive collectors. So anyways, That is my finds this week. I've only been a couple times. Slowly getting better, which hasn't increased my ability to go out and thrift store shopping, but it's allowed me to come down to my basement and play records more often. And I'll have fun playing a lot of these disco singles today. So thank you for watching. If you're watching, like I always say, I watch all your videos. The people who comment, when I go on, I try to subscribe. So if you subscribed, I really appreciate it. It really does mean a lot to me. And like I said, I really love all the comments, and thank you for all the well wishes. So until next time, this is David Michael. You guys have a great rest of the week. Thank you.